Another month, another wrap up. I won't bore you with a very long intro about how I feel like this month lasted for 5 seconds and then was gone. So, without further ado, here are the books that I read in the month of February. So first of all, Homegirl got to come through with those graphic novels and comics. Didn't read many of them this month, which is quite the disappointment. But you know what? Quality over quantity. So I finally read the complete volume 1 of Marvel's Runways. I love this. I've been meaning to pick it up mostly for the sole purpose of getting it read before watching the TV show, because I've been hearing so many great things about the TV show and it did look great, but I also heard it was a very loyal adaptation to the comics, so I thought I might as well read the comics beforehand, blah blah blah. It's not that loyal of an adaptation, but it's loyal enough, and I do enjoy the comics very much and the TV show as well. So yeah, this follows a group of kids whose parents always meet up once a year or whatever for charity, except they find out that they're all supervillains, so they run away. And it's ridiculous, it's over the top, and it's so much fun. And I love it. I love the artwork, I love the story, I love the characters. I have volume 2 out at the moment, so I will come back with updates. My one complaint, though, is that at the very beginning, they use a slur. One of the characters is into gaming, so he's playing a video game about the Avengers or whatever, and one of the people that he's playing with uses the R slur, which I'm very much against. It was so unnecessary and uncalled for, and it really put me off. But otherwise, pretty solid, but still, no. So I work in a bookstore, right? And we have staff recommends, and we had some yearly ones. And one of the books on the list sounded very nice. You might have seen it in one of my library hauls. And I was compelled. Never again. I read Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. This basically follows this girl and her friend from college. They're like 21. They're slam poets or something among those lines. So after a show, this older lady who's a photographer, she's famous, yada yada, comes up to them, invites them to dinner or something, I don't even remember. So these girls become friends with her and her actor husband, and it's meant to be like a feminist rom-com-y type deal, but overall it's kind of meh, very much so actually. All the characters think they're like the shit, and they're so pretentious, and they use all these big words, and I like big words, and I cannot lie, okay? Big words are great, which is why John Green was my favorite as a young tween. But I wish the characters were at least half as smart as they think they are. They're just very meh. They don't feel real to me. They feel like a bit of a mock-up and a bit of a joke. I'm not particularly fond of the writing style in itself. The dialogue isn't marked, which I suppose I understand it's a stylistic choice or whatever, but also it kind of put me off when I first picked up the book. And my biggest complaint is that the main plot device used to further said plot is cheating. Not a fan, no. How about we drop that? We leave it in, I don't know, the 90s or something. Just drop it, kill it with fire. No, I wasn't a fan. I didn't like the romance. I didn't really like the main character. I thought she was pretentious, and that's my main complaint. And I am pretentious, and the people that I surround myself with are pretentious, but it didn't really work because I wasn't sucked into her life and her person. It's just I didn't connect with her. I didn't care. That's the main thing. I just didn't care. So, nah. I did mention her before, but I will just give her another shout out. Leanne is one of my favorite people to watch. So, here we are. I picked up Let Them Eat Chaos by Kate Tempest. I think I saw this in her favorite reads of 2017, maybe. This is a poem. I think it was inspired by a live performance of the author. Maybe I might be wrong. It basically follows a bunch of people in London with their own issues and lives, and it's set late at night, and it's just very atmospheric. It's very profound, and it's pretentious, but in all the right ways. And I was really living. I'm not usually a poetry person, as you might know. I don't feel like I'm smart enough for it. Maybe smart isn't quite the right word. It's not always for me. It's not always for me. So when I do find one that I really, really like, just so happy. So I might be more into poetry in the future, because this spoke to me on so many levels. I thought the writing was beautiful. I thought like I could just click with the voice of the author and understand what she was trying to tell me, and I hadn't spent too much time with all these people whose lives we caught glimpses of in the poem, but I was still there for them and rooting for them nevertheless. And that's just great writing. I love feminism, and I love nonfiction, and those are well-known facts about me. You could say they are truths universally acknowledged. But yeah, I first picked up a book by this author because it was praised to the heavens to be one of the key feminist nonfiction, blah blah blah. Wasn't quite the fan. I thought it was simplistic. I thought it lacked intersectionality. So when I saw this new book of hers being popular, but haven't seen many reviews, I was like, maybe one day, but also maybe not. But Anne Hathaway was reading it and posting about it on Instagram. And you know what? If Anne Hathaway thinks it's good, I might as well just pick it up and give it a chance. And boy, am I happy that I did. I read The Mother of All Questions, and that is Further Feminism by Rebecca Solnit. You might have heard of her first one. I think it was called Men Explain Things to Me. A little bit of a no. But this one, I think it's one of those cases of someone having their feminism critiqued and bettering themselves, and it's just glorious. It made my heart grow inside my chest to see her improve and debate more intersectional themes. And none of the essays in this bored me, which happened with a few of the ones in Men Explain Things to Me, if I'm to be honest, which I like to be. But this was so engaging. It was so great. I so look forward to more stuff of hers in the future, because I like seeing her writing style evolve. I love seeing her feminism improve, and I just think this was so solid that I might just, pick up anything of hers in the future. But I started the month in a reading slump, which was just pretty much carrying from the last week of January when I flew to London to see Hamilton, and nothing else will ever compare to that. But because I was really into London, and I was really into something that I knew would suck me in and compel me, and I was trying to fight that reading slump, I finally read A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. I love V.E. Schwab. You might know that her Monsters of Verity duology is one of my favorite things of all time. I think Our Dark Duet came out last year. It was one of my favorite books of the year. And then This Savage Song was one of my favorite books of the year that came out. So I like V.E. Schwab, alright? It was a lot to live up to because of how much I enjoyed that. Spoiler alert, I think Monsters of Verity so far remains my favorite. But we'll see, we'll see. And also, this series has a fandom and a half. There's a lot of hype. So it was interesting to go into it. I do think it did live up to the hype. There are quite some conflicting opinions out there, but I was very much a fan. Anyway, so in this world, there are 4-ish Londons. So we have Grey London, which is kind of your 18-ish hundreds regular London, like our London, which is pretty much devoid of magic. We have Red London, which flourishes with magic and has it seep out of every being and every particle, and it's just beautiful. We have White London, which is corrupted by magic and is just a dangerous place to be. And then we have Black London, which has been pretty much destroyed by magic, which has become its own little entity that is out there to get everyone. And so Black London is pretty much finito. Our main character, Kel, he can travel between all these Londons, and he's one of the very few people that can do that. So what does Cal do? He breaks all the rules and takes a piece of one of the Londons and gets it to another one of them, and it's just the start of all his problems. He makes terrible life choices. He's a very Hufflepuffy character, and I just would protect him with my life. I think the characters are the highlight of this, even though I would have expected the world building to be, what captures me. And I did think the world building was great, or at least it was great to set the scene for the future books in the series. This could have maybe left as a bit of a standalone, but I'm still very, very happy that it's a series, and I'm very curious to see how the story develops, because I love the characters, I love the world, I want to know more, and I think V. Schwab is the best. Go buy all her books so she can take all the naps, please and thank you. I think Susan Dennard is a goddess that has invented writing, and I think the Witchland series is the top of the top for YA fantasy. So I have been deprived of all the content because I had read Truth Witch and I had read Wind Witch, and there's no other Witchlands series novels, but Susan Dennard, bless her heart, came out with Sight Witch this month, and this is a short story novella-y type of companion to the Witchland series. It takes place way before the action in the books, and it follows one of the minor characters from the series. But also, can we please talk about this beautiful cover? This is the definition of black girl magic. Anyway, so your protagonist is a Sight Witch. She's at a convent-y type place, and all the sisters are being called by the goddess to go under the mountain and, I don't know, follow their calling or whatever. And none of them come back. And it gets to the point where Ripper, the protagonist, is the only one left there. And she thinks all the sisters, including her thread sister, which is pretty much her platonic soulmate, are in mortal danger and she needs to save them. And it's just a great time. I think Susan's writing is incredible. I think she does a great job to make you even more compelled by characters that you previously knew. I love her character building. I love how she keeps the theme of having the series following sisterhood. This is very much at its core much like Truth Witch, in the sense that at its core it's about friendship and trying to defend your best friend and protect her, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I have no words. I love this. Just go buy it, go read it, go support Susan. And then Simon & Schuster UK were very nice to have sent me a while ago a early review copy of The Wicked Deep by Shay Earnshaw. I think this is her debut. It's everything I could have wanted, and as you can see, it did not fail to meet my expectations, which I'm very thankful for. It's a witchy atmospheric tale set in this random little town. So, story is, way back when, in the 1800s, the city had drowned these three sisters after having accused them of witchcraft, because fuck the patriarchy, am I right? And every summer since, on June 1st, until the day that they had been drowned, the sisters would take over the bodies of 3 local girls and drown boys, because fuck the patriarchy, am I right? And so our story takes place in current times, and this mysterious boy comes to town, and our protagonist wants to do her best to protect him, and also they need to find out, who the sisters are, how they can maybe get rid of them and save the town, yada yada yada. It's so good, I love it so much. I'm so touched. I haven't been this into a debut since I read, I think, Spare and Found Parts by Sarah Maria Griffin, and I still love that book and will talk about it to everyone who listens. Yeah, I think that's great. I have a review on my blog, which I'm reviving for this. It's perfect for fans of Maura Fowley Doyle's Old Book of the Lost and Found was the title. I quite liked that one as well back when I first read it. I don't have enough words and also enough time, because this video is probably long enough already, to gush just about how much I love this book. But do please check out my blog review of it, because it's so good. It's so good. The atmosphere, the writing, the story itself, I'm just dying with love. And finally, I picked this up because Eva from Fred Weasley Died Laughing really loved this. And I didn't finish it, so it feels very fitting to continue this on in March because Eva and some other wonderful ladies, I will link that down below as well in case you're interested, are hosting an Irish readathon, which sounds great. So I am reading Fully Functioning Human Almost by Melanie Murphy. Melanie is a YouTuber. I will link her channel as well down below, I suppose, in case you somehow don't know her already. So this is a memoir-y, advice-y type book. I don't know. Not usually what I read, but Eva loved it and I trust Eva. So I thought I would pick it up because I do like Melanie's videos. I don't know how I feel about it this far. I'm not quite clicking with the writing style. I'm 192 pages in. I enjoy it. It's just not my favorite thing, I guess, which we shall see how that goes on. But yes, that's kind of what I've been reading throughout February. I also listened to 2 books on audio, so I finally picked up from the library The Invasion and the Fate of the Tierling, which are the second and third and final books in the Queen of the Tierling. Is it just the Tierling series? I don't know. It's that series. So that's the whole series follows Kelsey Glynn, who finds out she's like a queen, or maybe she always knew. I don't remember. It's been a while since I read the first one, alright? But I had a good enough time going back into it. It was a wild ride. They were both a wild ride. I never would have ever expected the series to go all the ways it did. It was very wild, but I was living. However, if you're interested in picking that up, there's so much mention and depiction of, I think it was sexual assault, sexual harassment, mentions of sexual violence, all the things. Also vague mentions or depictions, or I don't remember. It's been a while. Of self-harm and other things. So, you know, do be prepared. I did mention some of the other content warnings and trigger warnings in my Goodreads reviews, so I'll look for those and link them down below. You're giving me a lot of work to do, but regardless, I do like the series. It's just, it's a lot. I have no better way to put it. Anyway, that's what I have been into in February, and thank you so much for watching. Do let me know if you've read any of these, what you thought if you did, and also what your favorite read of the month was, because I am interested. I will see you later. Bye.